Hey there everyone, ni hao, this is called Choquito, and today I'm gonna share with you 7 cultural shocks I felt when moving into Shanghai. 我们开始吧。The first cultural shock I experienced was definitely communication issues. Before moving to China, I had no idea what's the English level in China and how do they communicate, even like the gestures and anything. You know, I had no clue. Honestly, I was pretty ignorant because I thought, okay, people will know what's water, money, and words like that, like very simple vocabulary words that you need for daily surviving skills, right? Also, like I didn't prepare at all. You know, I didn't know anything in Chinese. I didn't even know how to say ni hao. And I remember trying to buy water. I remember asking the lady, "Can I have water?" And she's like, "Ah, 什么?" I was like, "Water," and I started showing her like I'm opening a bottle and drinking the water, and she still didn't understand. I was shocked, but then I figured out, okay, just the way that we communicate is very different. So I had to jump over the fence and just grab the water myself, and I said, "Water," and she looked at me and she said, "Ah, shui," and that's actually the first word I learned in Chinese. But like even the way Chinese people do gestures, the way people count, right? The numbers are completely different, So you are not always gonna be understood if you show them just your fingers, or you're not gonna understand what they are showing you if you don't know the signs, right? Yeah, anyway, so I had no idea. That was definitely the first shocks I had. Communication is not that easy. I better have to start learning Chinese, learning the way that Chinese people communicate. Okay, cultural shock number 2 that I experienced in Shanghai is how empty is the city. Where's everybody? That's what I felt, Before coming here, I knew that Shanghai is one of the most highly populated cities. The city should be overcrowded, right? And it's not like that. Actually, there's so many places that do not have any people whatsoever. Of course, the touristy spots have a lot of people. Certain streets are always crowded, but by far, the city overall, it doesn't feel that crowded. You never feel like you are surrounded by people and claustrophobic. And no, you don't feel anything of that. It's usually not empty, but not as crowded as I expected. Eventually, of course, I learned that the city is so wide and big that it fits everybody and everybody has plenty of space, right? But it was a shock. I really expected the city to be much more crowded than it feels. All right, cultural shock number 3 is the people's appearances. Probably one of the first things that shocked me is that there is no fat people, Everybody is kind of slim, including people my age, older people, and even grandpas and grandmas, right? In my country, probably, I don't know, the majority of people my age have a couple of kilograms more than they should have. But here in China, here in Shanghai, people really take good care of their body, of their weight. Another shocking thing was, we always believe that Chinese people have very small eyes, but it's actually not true. Probably most of the time, you guys have actually bigger eyes than we do. What else? Yeah, the fact that Chinese people like white skin, it's considered as a standard of beauty. That was also very weird because for us, if you are pale and very white, it means you have not been to the beach this year, or you stay at home the whole time, and it's not necessarily associated with something good. People here don't like getting tan, right? People don't want to be wrinkly later on in life. They want to take care of their health and the way they look, Whereas in our countries, like we just want to get tan because we think it looks nice. I was quite shocked by the way people look and the standards of beauty. 兄弟，你看到我了吗？我在这儿。找到了吗？还没有。哎呦，找到了吗？哦，我找到了，厉害。那6个赞。Shock number 4 is greenery. The amount of vegetation and plants and also decorations throughout the city. I mean, when I moved to Shanghai, I expected it to be a concrete jungle, right? But I was very surprised to see that actually there's so much green in this city. It's been decorated all the time, all year long, everywhere. Basically, Shanghai has already more than 1,000 kilometers of greenways. By 2025, it plans on expanding by another 1,000 kilometers. So it's gonna be like 2,000 kilometers of just greenways, which is fantastic. Anywhere you go, there is plants, flowers of different colors, shapes, types. It's super beautiful. And the best part is that the city keeps changing its decorations all the time, every season. So you never really get bored of the same plants. So there's so many laws and regulations regarding greenery, especially for constructions. So if there's a new residential building or an office building or any type of construction being built, between 20 to 35% of the area used has to be designated for greenery, and that is great because the city keeps breathing fresh air. It also makes you happy, to see more green. After all, we're humans, right? We need to be close to nature. But personally, I love it. Keeps getting colder and colder. All right, so I think number 5 that really shocked me is international brand presence. I expected China to be very closed to the rest of the world and to people not even knowing about international brands, but when you come here, you just see the same stores that you see back home. All the streets are packed with the same stores, the same products, and they are very popular here in China. I would say the great majority of people have an iPhone. IKEAs are always fully packed, Costco, all the supermarket brands, all the fashion brands, even like streaming services. You can find a Hulu account, a Netflix account on Taobao, and it's gonna be exactly the same. I really honestly thought that everybody here was gonna be wearing gray and that the city is gonna look very gloomy, but that's not the case. It definitely feels like any other city in the West. All right, cultural shock number 5. Number 6, number 5, I think number 6 was how quiet is the night. It's such a big city. Everybody would expect that nightlife is pretty crazy and you can go nuts, and you can do that, but it's not like it's very obvious and it's everywhere. The city is pretty quiet at night. There is several party streets in Shanghai. It's not like just one place. So let's say one of the streets has 10 bars there, and there's a lot of fun and a lot of noise in that place. But then one block away is completely empty and there's no one in there. And the same happens with every single bar street, all of them are scattered around the city. And for the most part, people are just sleeping. It's a city that sleeps very early and wakes up very early as well. So after around 9, 10, 11 p.m., there's no one on the streets, it feels desolated. It's very shocking. So I would say basically the nightlife is kind of quiet, much more quiet than I expected. All right, cultural shock number 7, finally. Eating habits. I expect that everybody here in China eats with chopsticks all the time and that's the only way they eat, But it couldn't be far from truth. So very often you are given a spoon depending on the type of dish that you eat. But then if they are eating Western cuisine, everybody's using forks and knives. And depending on what they are eating, they can also use hands, Also, people are louder, when they eat. And that's totally fine. Nobody ever blinks an eye. It should be like that, It doesn't matter. There's no right or wrong here. Most of the time, people don't finish their food, especially if they are eating some noodles that has some soup inside. The majority of people just eat the noodles and the main ingredients, then just leave the soup. And I was really shocked because for us, soup is a full dish. And the most important part is the broth, is the water itself, right? That's what you want to eat. But here, people want to taste the noodles or whatever is inside the soup rather than the water itself. That was definitely shocking. Just the way people eat and treat food is pretty different. Thanks everyone for tuning in. Thanks for watching as always. Really, you guys have been amazing. Let me know which one of these cultural shocks shocked you the most. Anyway, please don't forget to subscribe, leave a like, leave your comments please. I really like to read them all. Yeah, thank you for your support guys, and I will see you on the next one. 再见。